NFL season in under an hour. It's finally here. It's Bo, it's Alex, and we're here to break it down. It's your pregame show. It's the Locked On Cardinals pregame show for Cardinals Titans.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good? It's game day. Locked On Cardinals. Bo, Brack, Alex Clancy. Rise up, Red Sea. And that's exactly what they're doing right now in Nashville. We saw from our friends over at the AZ Bird Gang Travel Gang. Well, I'm sorry, I butchered that. It's you gonna help me out here?
No, I'm gonna let you get there.
Oh, cool, awesome.
No, it's go ahead.
No, you.
I think it's Bird Gang Travel. Yeah, now I need to find the exact
Travel Bird Gang. Let's get it going here. Well, they showed us 450 deep of the Red Sea out there tailgating for the game today, and we're looking at this contest, a final look-see, Alex, before the real thing. Like months and months of the offseason, right? What are they going to do in free agencies? Fitz coming back. What are they going to do with some guys that they need to re-sign? What are they going to do as far as the draft? And that's all done. That's all settled. The roster's set, and we're set to see the Arizona Cardinals take on a team that played in the playoffs in back-to-back seasons.
Yeah, I mean, this is, as we've mentioned over the last month or so, the perfect litmus test for the Arizona Cardinals going into the 2021 season. You have a porous defense to see if the offense can take advantage of that, and you have a stout, top-heavy offense to see what this defense is made of, especially with the innards of the defense at the second level of being a second-year Isaiah Simmons and a rookie Zayvon Collins being the play caller. I mean, this could go epically well or epically poorly, and I feel like we're going to find out right away. And then, obviously, the bell of the ball. Let's see if Kyler Murray can start his I'm an elite quarterback tour starting week 1 in Nashville in 57 minutes. Like that's so. Let me ask you. There's a lot of we had Jason Moore on this past week, host of the Fantasy Footballers, most popular fantasy football podcast on the planet. He said that Kyler Murray's his QB1. Will that translate to wins, or are we looking at a Blake Bortles / Deshaun Watson situation where the Cardinals are going to have to come back a lot? And it's going to boost Kyler's points, which is good for fantasy, not so great for real life football.
Yeah, you hope it's not the latter there. You hope it's not the empty calories. It's Kyler Murray chasing some points and putting up some big numbers in a loss, a game that was probably in hand in the first half. I mean, this is a team in the Tennessee Titans that things can get out of hand very early on because of that offense. And, when you look at their last performance too, I mean, the Tennessee Titans defense actually did perform well against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens were able to squeak one out for Lamar Jackson's first playoff victory. It was like a 2013 game. It was something that didn't kind of fit the mold of the regular season for the Tennessee Titans, where it was just a shootout. So we'll see, what's going to happen. You hope it's, I mean, which scenario works best for the Arizona Cardinals? A lower scoring game or a shootout? I mean, the Cardinals, as we mentioned, they're 8-1 under Cliff Kingsbury and when scoring 30-plus points, but then the Titans are 15-1 at the same token. I mean, it's going to be, is it first to 30, or is it whoever can kind of keep the score under, from hitting the total of 52? We'll see. Which works?
I mean, I think it's the former. I think it could be whoever has the ball last. The Cardinals defense is equal to or potentially greater than strength-wise than last year. There's so many question marks. With Patrick Peterson gone, as much maligned as it's been, and as great as it's been for us to talk about all the fodder with him talking like a spurned ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend, like they have nobody in the cornerback room that's proven to be a cornerback one. That's one. Number two, they don't have anybody in the backfield that's proven right now that can be a running back one at this point. What you want is the Cardinals to win this game, Kyler Murray to not be the focal point of the rush attack, and to see so here, this is something we're going to disagree on in perpetuity. What Kyler said in the offseason was he wants his legs to be a luxury. He doesn't want them to be relied upon. And I am in that camp. And it's not even because of injury. It's if you take away Kyler Murray in that respect, the offense sputters. You need to keep the defense guessing whether it be him throwing the ball or running the ball. And if you just expect first progression not there, I'm going to run and bail Cliff out from a bad play call, that's not a recipe for success. We saw it last year.
I disagree with everything you said. I mean, even down to the Cliff Kingsbury bad play call, but Cliff Kingsbury has actually shown a great ability to utilize Kyler Murray's legs. At least he did early in last season when he was
until defenses caught up.
And also Kyler Murray wasn't 100% health. I mean, look,
does he run with his shoulder?
At least admit that.
Does he run with his shoulder?
If you buy a Tesla and you've got like that
love a Tesla.
Yeah, with the 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds or less than that. That's basically Kyler Murray. Are you not going to utilize that, whatever is it, the holy crap mode? Are you not going to use that? That's a luxury. Doesn't mean that you're not going to utilize it. If you can go 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, you're gonna do that. That's Kyler Murray's legs. It doesn't mean, hey, I'm just going to drop back and be this pocket passer and I'm going to do that 90% of the time. You utilize every single strength that you have. I don't understand.
That's not what I meant.
What you're saying you shouldn't have Kyler Murray as the main catalyst as far as his running the football, but it is such a weapon for this offense. I think you're doing yourself a disservice, especially if you emphasize getting away from that.
Alex Clancy, Bo Brock, Locked on Cardinals pregame show here. We'll be joining you in 4 hours or so, a little bit less, 3 hours or so, to do a halftime show as well. Recap the first half and answer any and all of your questions. Listen, Kyler Murray's legs, is a great weapon. Okay, my point is it shouldn't be relied upon when Cliff Kingsbury doesn't have the ability to call the correct play calls. That's what I said before 2 minutes ago. That's what I'm saying again now. Kyler Murray's legs won them games in the first half that didn't in the second. Now, which is true. It's true.
Yeah, if you won them games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, but it didn't in the second half.
Use them then.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm saying you can't use them as a crutch when your offense isn't working. It's like, okay, Kyler, go make something happen. A run pass option is a free pass for a play caller because it's out of your hands. It's up to the quarterback to make the right call. Sure. Okay. That is a
one Philly a Super Bowl. It wins Kansas City multiple games, but sure, yeah, it's
run pass option. Hardly running it the same way in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes running the football. Give me a break. Kyler Murray's legs. Listen, Kyler Murray has bailed out Cliff Kingsbury since Cliff Kingsbury's been the head coach. The point for today is the over/under on BetOnline.ag.
Point. I don't know. Understand why
was 43.5, right, for rushing yards.
Yeah.
My beautiful situation here is if the Cardinals put up 30 points, Kyler hits under that, and the offense is humming. You want to use it as a weapon, not as a focal point.
Got it. Okay. Locked on Cardinals, Bo Brock, Alex Clancy. This is weird. This is a weird start. I didn't expect us to be at each other's throats here early on, but you want to make it all about Cliff Kingsbury before they even kick off the football. Look, also a big focal point is this defense slowing down the run game. They have to do that, and I think they're actually set up pretty well to do it. It's just is the cornerback room going to be able to get in that situation where if the front seven is getting enough pressure that they can just cover. If they're in cover zero and you've got guys out there on an island and it's Byron Murphy or it's Marco Wilson or it's Robert Alford, that they're going to be able to just cover enough to where a guy like Ryan Tannehill, you can look at all the stats, but I know that if the Tennessee Titans have to rely upon Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown and Julio Jones more so than that rushing attack with the Mr. 2000 Derrick Henry, that's a good thing for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, if you're going to have to pick a poison, it's going to be Ryan Tannehill for sure. I mean, you stack 8 and you just hope that A.J. Brown's hobbled. He was questionable up until this weekend. I think he's going to play, but I mean, Julio Jones isn't getting any younger. At this point, you have to trust your cornerback room. You have to trust Budda Baker over the top. That's what you got to do. You got to trust your pass rush. This is what they put themselves at with the 11 they're going to put on the field to start Sunday on defense. And you're right. I mean, it's stop Derrick Henry and win the game, on defense.
Because that's what it was in the playoff game. I mean, Derrick Henry was held under 3 yards per carry from the Baltimore Ravens defense, and we know about that front seven. We know that where their strength is. It's in the middle. It's those linebackers. It's Calais Campbell up front. It's sure they've got Marcus Peters, who's a ball hawking, in Marlon Humphrey, just exponentially better than the Arizona Cardinals. But the front seven, it was what really made that kind of defense tick in that playoff game that they won against this Tennessee Titans offense.
Yeah, and what you said was right on Friday. Go up 10 points, you completely neutralize Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
You know, if you can smack him in the face early, and I said this on Friday, if they win the toss, take the ball. Let's not jump around here. Take the ball and go score a touchdown. If your offense is this good, you have your 15 plays scripted, do it. And before we move on, Ed brings up a good point here. Penalties are the sign of a weak coaching staff, weaker compared to others. You have teams that always are penalized, and you have teams like the Raiders have notoriously just been a highly penalized team. The Cardinals, since Cliff Kingsbury's come in here, have been in the bottom 5 penalty-wise. So that's something that, I mean, Mason Cole didn't help very often. It's going to be loud in Nashville. So we'll see if the offensive penalties are there. That's going to show, a little bit not so ready mentally in week 1. But yeah, hopefully they can alleviate penalties because that definitely help.
I mean, Tampa is able to overcome being in the top 5 in penalties, but obviously they've got the greatest quarterback of all time that's kind of running the ship there. But that's also an anomaly what we saw Thursday night, where you're going to lose the turnover battle, you're going to lose the penalty battle, and you're going to win the game. I mean, they were just going up against a Dallas team that just couldn't get it done. The Arizona Cardinals, they can't put themselves in the situation. They don't have, we say luxury today. They don't have the luxury to lose out on either of those. And, Tennessee is a team that doesn't necessarily ever win the possession battle, the time of possession battle, but it's because they have such that potent offense that they're so, efficient as far as scoring the football, that the Arizona Cardinals need to take advantage. If Tennessee is going to put their offense back on the field, they need to win that time of possession. It's important for the Arizona Cardinals to win that time of possession today.
So a couple more minutes. You gave your prediction. Why don't you refresh everybody of your prediction from Friday?
31-24. Arizona Cardinals win this game. I think that they have the firepower offensively, and then defensively, they have the ability to make enough stops to get it done. But look, Cliff Kingsbury, this offense, they have also the ability to make me look foolish with that prediction, because getting to 30 it hasn't been. They've done it 9 times in 32 games. When the offense is supposed to be the calling card of this team, it's going to be, they can make us look very foolish if they look like they did at the end of last season.
Yeah, and I'm saying 34-27 Cardinals. I think it's gonna be a shootout. And there's gonna be scoring early. The interesting part, though, is the wrinkle to this is usually it takes the offense a little longer to catch up. Usually the defense is there because it's a lot more. It's instinct. It's trust and instinct is what makes a good defense. And offense takes a little bit more synchronicity, takes a little bit more setup. So I still think that's going to get thrown out the window, and there's going to be a lot of scoring early on in this game. And hopefully the Cardinals can hold on. Like, we haven't had, I don't believe, aside from the Hail Murray, we haven't had yet a drive to score a touchdown to win a game from Kyler Murray, right?
No, he's good. Yeah, absolutely have. He even had one in his rookie season against the San Francisco. I think he had 4 game-winning drives last year. But, he had the one where he had the touchdown scamper and then they blew a lead against the Niners in his rookie season. He's had plenty of them. He's put them in positions to win. He's put them in positions to tie with a field goal. He's had to put them in a position to win with a field goal. I mean, he's doing enough. He's making plays. He made plays several times last year to put them in a position to win or tie.
But did they win or tie?
Yeah.
I mean,
they won in overtime against Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at home against Seattle. There was the Hail Murray. I mean, that stands out to me, doesn't it? To you?
Yeah.
I mean,
I said aside from the Hail Murray. Yeah. Oh. I mean, he threw the ball 55 yards in the air.
But he also got him to midfield. I mean, he made a couple plays before that. It wasn't just, hey, he hucked it as soon as they got the ball.
And yes, Matt Prater's going to help. I mean, Matt Prater will help. I mean, you're not going to see Matt Prater miss a 49-yard field goal short, dead center, to lose a game like they did against Miami last year. So, yeah, I mean, all in all, 34-27, 31-24 for you. I mean, we believe in this offense because this is the last shot. Hopefully it'll all come together. AJ Green will show up. Rondale Moore. We don't even talk about Rondale Moore anymore.
I mean, those guys between AJ Green, Rondale Moore, and Christian Kirk, I mean, just one of them has to show up today or in just this season in general, and they can just kind of go each other every other week. I mean, whoever can show up and be a threat opposite DeAndre Hopkins is going to be huge for this offense.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there's going to be 18 targets, right? 18 or 20 targets to go around. Yeah. And I'm sure Chase will get a couple. DeAndre's going to get between 10 and 13, 10 and 14 a game. there are a lot of targets to go around, and hopefully you're right. I mean, I feel like this is going to be an early dose of AJ Green to get him in the flow of the game, see where he's at immediately. Rondale Moore is going to be an X factor, and so is Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk can take the roof off of any defense in the NFL. We've seen it. Now, if he's going to be a one-trick pony like that and use him like Deshaun Jackson, fine. But
he's going to be in the slot. I mean, he's going to be playing a new position. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays. And then obviously you've got the new guy. I mean, AJ Green coming on the outside, and then you got your do everything in Rondale Moore. It's just, do you have too much? Is there too many? Is there too many cooks in the kitchen to make this to make this thing work? I hope not. I mean, it is surprised. I was surprised to hear that you put up a 30+ point performance from this Cardinals team. Because
of who they're playing.
Yeah.
If they don't, like, the absolute worst case scenario, barring any sort of injury, which you never wish for, the absolute worst case scenario is the Cardinals lose this game like 17-13. Not only do they lose, but they put up no points against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. That would be the absolute worst, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they win 17-13, you're like, well, you got a W. It's on the road. Now you have home field advantage the rest of the season. And Ron. So Tay Gowan's out, or Tay Gowan's inactive. Benjamin is inactive, which is surprising. Like, with what he's shown in the offseason. So Benjamin hasn't dressed for one game in his NFL career yet. Yet people on Twitter constantly, is the RB room good? Yeah, will be fine as the third running back. He's got to dress first.
Right.
I mean, they've got to trust him enough to dress him first. So I'm looking at mostly the running back room today on offense, where the cornerback room. This is the tough wide receiver group for really any secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this isn't a bad, obviously, wide receiver room. The running back room against Tennessee's defense, it's going to be fascinating to see where the carries go. I mean, you're going to see Chase get 15 touches, 15 handoffs.
Yeah, I mean, plus
that's 4 to
5 catches. Yeah, I mean, but I think that he's a guy that should be ready to go. Speaking of inactives, Tay Gowan is inactive. So is Chris Streveler. Benjamin, as Alex mentioned, Luke Barco, the cornerback, and Josh Miles, who struggled mightily on the offensive line in the preseason. All those guys inactive.
Dennis Gardeck, obviously, too, put on IR after the injury, which is a bummer for so many reasons. Yeah, no,
hopefully Gardeck is just a couple more times for him a couple more weeks for that knee to get stronger, and then the hand, obviously, that's what put him on the injured reserve. Yeah. So the pass rush, though, I'm not concerned about it. I mean, if you could lose a guy from any group outside of your two big guys, and Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt, who we're already watching warm up on the field now, it's surreal almost to see that J.J. Watt is a member of the Arizona Cardinals ready to go. I guess the team he's familiar with. But, the pass rush, the front seven, I don't have to stress it anymore. I mean, it has to be special. And, I agree with Arizona Ammo. I mean, as you were mentioned, Chase Edmonds in the running back room. We'll see. I mean, especially it will become concerning if they're in the red zone and they can't jam it in. They can't punch it in. And whether it's James Conner, if Chase Edmonds gets a carry, is something we haven't seen before. Our guy, Jason Moore, pointed out 1 carry in the 5 in his career going into his 4th season. So very big unknown there. The running back room, the cornerback room, we're going to get some answers today. We might not like what we see.
Yeah. If you had to pick one person on the team, on the starting 53, or the active 53, who are you most excited to watch, and who will you be glued to when they're on the screen?
I mean, can we just name this the Kyler Murray Award? Because I want to take him out of the conversation, because I want to watch him each and every week.
Yeah, take him out.
I mean, Zaven Collins. I get amped up to see Zaven Collins kind of be the leader on this defense game one, and kind of just get out there, just stuff some holes, take down some ball carries, get some tackles for losses, bat some balls down, see him in coverage. I think he's got a good matchup. Not no talented tight ends on this team. I don't think that's going to be a factor for the Tennessee Titans. So, yes, we can see the chat.
Yes, we can see the chat. I agree. And this is the first time, like, even when Kyler Murray was drafted, there were question marks. Like, nobody's talked. You've seen Zaven Collins in 2 preseason games. Like, oh, okay, he's an NFL player, and we don't talk about it anymore. It's like he's just expected at 22 years old to go out and quarterback the defense. That's it. And, it's funny. It's like, okay, do we have a false sense of security here? Or is this what other teams feel like when they actually trust the GM who drafted their players? Where it's like, oh, no, that's going to work. Devon White, you talked about Devon White with Tampa Bay. Took him about a year and a quarter to really get the flow. And I know they're completely different. They're completely different linebackers. But now he's one of the better linebackers in the league. And he's the normal 5'10", 220, like the normal size linebacker. I think he's a little bit taller than that. But Zaven Collins, we haven't talked about it at all. It's the cornerback room. It's the running back room. It's the pass rush. The pass rush is going to be able to help. And you just have Zaven Collins now, like mentoring a second-year Isaiah Simmons, and we just hope it works.
Jordan Hicks is still a big part of that group.
That's true. No, that's true. But I mean, if you're looking at one guy, if the one guy that needs to make the most impact in the middle of the field, it's a rookie.
Yes.
And it's exciting and it's scary.
But then you have those calming guys in Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt, Jordan Hicks. I mean, it's a good mix of veterans and youngsters. But it can all go south if there's assignments blown by the two young linebackers and the cornerback room. If they can't play up to snuff, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long, long day. The Arizona Cardinals' biggest concern, it's giving up 200 yards to Derrick Henry, though, right? I mean, that would be disaster.
A nightmare.
Right? I mean,
because you can't win and give up that many yards, because then the play action is just almost not fair for Ryan Tannehill. So I mean, once he, like, if we're gonna narrow it down to one thing with Derrick Henry, it's you can't give up the big play. You can't give up a 70-yard or 80-yard touchdown run. It's hard to win football games in the NFL to begin with, and we have so many question marks that we're going to be watching on this roster. You cannot give a 1st and 10 from the 25, 75 yards to the house, where he makes two moves, jukes or stiff arms Buda Baker, and he's gone. You just can't. You just can't. The Cardinals cannot afford anything like that.
And it's going to be so crucial to get off the field on 3rd down.
Yeah.
It was something we saw early. I mean, we talk about the offense falling short. It was something that kind of was very successful early on last season and then fell by the wayside. And that defense found itself, part of extended drives from the opposing offenses, whether it was the Rams a couple times or Seattle in the second go around. To be able to get off the field would be huge, because then you take away the ability for Derrick Henry to get a couple more cracks in early downs again. I mean, it just wears on you, especially with an offense like this. If you give up, more than 50% on 3rd down, and then you're facing Derrick Henry once again on 1st and 2nd down, he will wear you out, boy. I mean, he will. So that's going to be key. It was key for the Ravens in the playoff game. I hate to keep pointing to it, but there was a lot of success there from that Ravens defense.
Well, I mean, you're going to be facing Derrick Henry on 3rd and short also. So, I mean, if you're going to be able to stop him, you're going to be able to stop him. But, I mean, I feel like it's going to be one or the other. Either he's going to light him up, or they're going to have an elixir with their front 7 to be able to stop him. I mean, we'll see if Rashad Lawrence and Lecky Fotu can stick it in the middle. If Corey Peters gets some action, like, it's going to be very important. They're going to run up the A-gap a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be like, okay, stop us. And, man, I'm so I always think about Armageddon, right? Movie.
God. I haven't thought about that since it came out.
Well, so Owen Wilson, the blonde one, right? Owen Wilson.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Owen Wilson, when they're about ready to take off, he goes, I'm nervous. I'm excited. A little nervous and excited.
Yeah.
But more excited. Like, that's where we're at right now. Like, there's I'm going to be on the edge of my seat this whole game. Like, and I know for all 17, but this is like, we're going to get our first taste of what the future of the Cardinals are going to look like. And we don't know if it's going to be with people as currently constructed or completely different. Like, there's so many unknowns going into, 36 minutes for 35 minutes from now. It's insane. Everything could change 5 or 6 weeks from now if this doesn't work, or everything could change positively where it's like, they're looking to be buyers at the trade deadline. Because like, we got something cooking here. You got 2 years left on your deal. Impact player, impact corner, impact whoever.
Right.
Giddy up, partner. Take our 1st round pick. Like, there's so many possibilities. So many possibilities. So much room for activities.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be.
We're just getting started. It's not even, we're almost 30 minutes from kickoff. Arizona Cardinals taking on the Tennessee Titans. Man, it's in a very under the radar, sneaky, really good game across the national, obviously the National Football League. Arizona Cardinals, 10 a.m. I'm glad it's actually happening at 10 a.m. because then I wouldn't have to wait until 1 o'clock for this thing to kick off. We'll get that next week against the Minnesota Vikings. But all right, your final score predictions one more time. 31-24 for me. I think the Arizona Cardinals offense comes out, looks efficient. I think with the offseason's time, that's enough for K2 to put in a good game plan. And they'll knock off the cobwebs that we saw in game 2 of the preseason.
Yep, 34-27 for me. I feel like we're not going to see as many under 2-minute offensive drives. I feel like in year 3, Kyler Murray already knew the offense better than anybody in the NFL before taking a snap, because this is just what he's done forever. You know what? Even though it wasn't under Cliff Kingsbury, he's got more weapons now. They have Rodney Hudson now. They have all the playmakers they need. They have all the playmakers they need, and I think that they'll put it together. 34-27. 34-27 Cardinals.
All right. Well, we're going to be coming at you at halftime of this game. We're going to be breaking it down. We're going to get your thoughts. Of course, we've been flashing all the chat on the screen. We're going to be interacting. It's going to be the most interactive Arizona Cardinals podcast there is.
And let me say one more. Let me say one more thing. Check out. Let's plug our boy Vinny Iyer, Locked On Fantasy Football. If you want, you got 33 minutes till kickoff. You probably don't know as much as Vinny Iyer does. Okay, Locked On Fantasy Football. I mean, Bo. Do you want to bring up text threads from your atrocity that was last season fantasy football?
Wow.
Wherever you get your podcast, Locked On Fantasy Football, Vinny Iyer. Check him out.
Guys, enjoy the beginning of this game. We can't wait to talk to you at halftime. Hopefully, we're talking about some really positive things. If not, we're also the place that we're not going to sugarcoat things. If things go awry, this is also going to be therapeutic, and it's going to be trying to pick up the pieces. But hopefully, it's positive, and we see this offense come out and play at a high level. Guys, enjoy the kickoff of this game, first half. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Clancy's Corner, at BOBRACK, Bob Brack, and at Locked On AZ Cards for all the updates throughout the game. It's going to be firing on all cylinders. Hopefully the Cardinals are as well. We'll talk to you soon.